thumbs up, and then Andrew DeMiguel. Jake, where are you, Jake? No, sorry, didn't even see you. Learning by doing.
So this is actually called The Future of Public Space. They say Ignite Talk should be about something personal, and actually this is art and technology work that my firm has done. But my talk actually isn't about that. It's about art and technology in public space. I was asked by a group called Art Place, which is a consortium of different foundations, to think about how art and technology can work with creative placemaking. And so a study that I did with Helen Walters, a design thinker, led us to talk to all these different groups. So you have practitioners, you have different engineers, and what we did was we put together all these quotes, and I'm sharing some of those findings with you. So none of this is our work. This idea about looking to promote increasing the transactional quality of neighborhoods is at the core of the study itself. So what we're going to show you are a bunch of different categories for work that we think is important in terms of increasing the transactional quality of neighborhoods, meaning the actual connections between people in public space. Prototyping public space is a new idea. So if you think about the way that cities work, typically they're established and evolved very slowly. But this quote, "You can work a lot of mischief with a bucket of paint," is from the head of the Department of Transportation in New York City. And what she did was she made bike lanes, she made new public squares, she completely transformed New York City. This is from a festival actually here in San Francisco, the Up Festival, and this is a prototype for a slide that you can make on any steps. So you could take any piece of public housing anywhere in the world and turn it into a playground. And this is what we mean by an urban prototyping, that you share those ideas. The second idea is about Mind the Gap. So this is about new technologies and the ways in which mobile technologies in specific are transforming public space, because that's actually a very new thing, the fact that you can bring computing onto the streets themselves. And so this quote is essentially arguing that, as computing fits into these tiny little mobile devices, it really changes where you can actually make digital art. It's no longer projectors in galleries or desktop computers. It's really anywhere. And so this piece, which is by an artist, Zach Lieberman, which is not showing up here, so that's sort of problematic. Oh, there it is. Allows people to publish different messages, and it runs along Hadrian's Wall. So this is not just an urban phenomenon. It runs across 76 miles in England. The next finding is about how technology is not just the internet itself, right? So the idea that you can look into all sorts of different places for technologies. This is a great quote from an engineer at Arup. "A shovel is a pretty damn good piece of technology in a food desert." And if you think about the problems in lots of inner city neighborhoods, that's a good way to think about how to deploy technology that's actually meaningful. And this project that connects with it is all about different ways in which people are actually using social media to tell their stories about these amazing puppets. This was actually in Liverpool, telling the story, this mythic story that connects with the Titanic. This was on the 100th year anniversary. These are huge, giant 3- and 4-story puppets that come together over 3 days to tell the story. The second and last one is about leaving nostalgia out of this. So really thinking in new ways about cities and not holding on necessarily to the past, just because that's how we've done things before. And so there's an amazing quote about how there's no real distinction between the physical and digital when you're thinking about how to transform your cities themselves. There's no point in having like separate strategies within a city itself. And so thinking about how people can actually connect with cities in new ways. In this case, this is taking a town hall in Auckland and projecting all these bodies, transforming the physical architecture into a place for expression, a place for play, and a place for connection between the citizens themselves. So this is really putting that power directly into the citizens. Thinking long-term, that looks sort of like a smoke ring, but you'll understand it in just a second, is really thinking about how you can use these artworks in public space to transform the communities themselves. So this quote about how essentially making the invisible visible is a lot about what art does, but if you think about scaling that to a city scale, you can take some of the data, some of the patterns of our living within cities, and actually feed them back into the citizens themselves. So this building that I'm going to show you is from Bjarke Ingels. He's a Danish architect working in New York. This is a new power plant that's going to open in Copenhagen, and is deploying smoke rings for each pound of carbon that's actually being burned by the city itself. So this is a way actually to feed back to the city its own carbon consumption in a way that's impacting on how people see the landscape. And then the last project I'm going to show you is about harnessing a community's dreams. And if you think about participatory artworks, ways in which people can gather together and share their own stories, that has a great symmetry with cities, right? Because cities are crowds of people gathering together. And so this is a piece of art that was launched in Grand Rapids. 50,000 lanterns, 100,000 participants, all together. And the artist was talking about how it was literally taking the dreams of an entire community and setting them aloft simultaneously for everyone together. Thank you very much.